let's talk about where we are with Anna Soubry, the Conservative MP and former Remain campaigner, and of course John Mills, businessman and lifelong campaigner to leave the EU. Welcome to you both. Now, Anna Soubry, you were shaking your head there when David Blevins was saying that the DUP were never informed of what Mrs May was going to sign up to.
Well, I think he said they hadn't seen the text.
Yeah.
Now,
well, I was going to ask you, do you know what she was proposing signing up to?
No, well, I think we all know now that this idea of regulation, the conciliatory regulation, which would solve the problem in Northern Ireland. Now, in itself, it's a really good thing. So let's be very clear about this. This is a way of finding a solution that satisfies British business and also would do the right thing by business, get us hard Brexit, people would be leaving the EU, but we would be solving it. It's on the shelf. It's like Ukraine. The problem is you can't offer it to one part of the United Kingdom and not the rest. So whilst it's a good idea, we would like it, please, across the whole of the UK. And it's not just the DUP who would not have countered such an arrangement. It's also Conservatives like myself who would have said, whoa, no way do we do a special deal for Northern Ireland because we are a united kingdom and it's one deal for all.
OK, just explain to me what conciliatory regulation is.
So what it is, they have it in the Ukraine. So the Ukraine is not a member of the European Union, but it means it complies with all the directives and the regulations in relation to all the bits and parts of all the trade it does. That's in financial services. There are some exceptions for agriculture, but the making of widgets and parts, all these things that they produce, they can sell straight into the single market, into the EU, without having to go through customs checks. So for great companies like Rolls-Royce, based in Derby, which makes these magnificent engines, that relies on all the parts going around all through the EU, free of tariffs, free of the stops that customs would do, it means that they can carry on trading. It provides certainty, prosperity for our country. We still leave the EU, but we get on with it because I think, Adam, your viewers are fed up with all this.
Well, we hope not.
No, not with you ever. But they're fed up with this Brexit. They want certainty. They want us to get on with it. And this is a way of getting on with it. And I'm prepared to compromise. So it's now over to the hard Brexiteers. Will you compromise?
OK, a Ukraine-type deal. Acceptable?
Well, I just don't think that is going to be acceptable in this country, and I don't think it's what people voted for in June 2016. I mean,
we don't know what they voted for. They voted to leave, that's it.
Well, they voted
you can't put anything else on it either way.
Well, I think you can. I mean, I don't see how you can say you're leaving the European Union, but you're staying in the single market and you're staying in the customs union.
Ukraine is not in the single market.
That's
it's in the customs union.
No, they're not in the customs union.
Well,
see, I'm sorry, but you're a prominent leaver, and you don't even know what Ukraine has. They are not in the customs union. Forgive me. Neither is Norway, by the way. Norway's in the single market. Look, I want us to stay in both, but I accept I've got to compromise. And this is my point. Theresa, who I think is doing her very best to hold this together, she needs now to reach out. Sorry.
Well, I mean, if you can have the trade advantages without belonging to those groups, and presumably you don't have to have freedom of movement, you don't have to have the idea of always obeying European directives. What's wrong with that?
But I don't think that's what's on offer. I mean, what I think the European Union has made very clear right the way through is that you can't cherry pick. You're either in the single market or you're not.
That's not
and
true
if you're
either.
in the single market, then there's going to have to be a pretty fair amount of free movement of labour. There's going to have to be the jurisdiction from the European Court of Justice and all these other things. Yeah,
I mean, the ECJ does not have jurisdiction in the Ukraine.
Yeah, but in a certain sense, Anna Soubry, you're fantasising, aren't you? Because he's right that offer has not been made to the UK as a whole. It's only been made to Northern Ireland.
To be fair, we don't know. My sense is, and I meet a number of ambassadors and their consuls, and obviously we talk to other parliamentarians throughout Europe. My sense is that Europe does want to do a deal. The problem is frankly, on our part, we haven't worked out what we want. We say we know what we don't want, but we don't really know what we do want.
No,
so this conciliatory, this regulation,
no, but I just want to get to the specific.
The
specifics is this was a specific deal,
yes,
which was being offered to Northern Ireland, which could have resulted in a border in the Irish Sea, effectively.
Yes, that's right. And the problem with it was that it only affected Northern Ireland, and it would see the breakup of the United Kingdom, and it would. It would be a huge step towards a united Ireland, and people in Northern Ireland don't want that. And it's not just the people in Northern Ireland. It's also unionists like me, and indeed in the Labour Party. There is no desire to break up the United Kingdom. But the irony is, look at Nicola Sturgeon. She's actually right. She's right. The majority of members of Parliament would vote for this. This is the irony. This is what will drive your viewers bonkers, because there is agreement in Parliament, but we are stopped at the moment by the hard left that are running the Labour Party, who are all Brexiteers, and I'm afraid to say a small group of ideologically driven hard Brexiteers in the Tory Party, and it's time to smash it away and put Britain's interests first.
Well, I think that's a fairly extreme view, I have to say.
It's a fact.
I think the vast majority of people in this country accept the result of the referendum and want to get on and get the best deal we can from the European Union, but they don't want to have control of the European Court of Justice. They don't want to have free movement of labour. They don't want to have a number of other aspects that we're discussing.
So what do you think?
I think what they want
should happen now. It looked like both sides thought we were reaching agreement yesterday. They've hit the bump on this Northern Ireland question. What do you think should happen now?
Well, I think the whole Northern Ireland question is very tricky, and I think it's very difficult to see what to do unless you've got some idea what the overall trade deal is going to be. And I think the real trouble with the negotiations we've had so far is that trying to deal with it in the order we have.
So should the Northern Ireland DUP drop their objections then so that we can get on to those trade negotiations?
Well, I don't think they will, because I think if they drop their objections completely, they'll feel, as Anna Soubry's just said, that this is providing a different environment for Northern Ireland.
But nothing's agreed till everything's agreed. They can bring the government down later on. Why not let have those exploratory talks?
Well, I think the trouble is, as soon as you do this, it's a bit like the divorce bill we've got. You know, if you talk about £50 billion or something, it's then very difficult to resolve back to 30 billion. And I think the DUP is very anxious that they don't start committing themselves in a way which in the end is going to finish up by leaving them bereft of support.
OK, so where's this heading this week then, Anna?
Oh, the danger is that these hard Brexiteers will go and make the argument now for the hard Brexit, and Theresa's got to see them off, because there's an agreement, not just in Parliament, but amongst the British people. They want a solution that suits business, and there are solutions there. They're on the shelf. Norway, Ukraine. You can take them down, dust them off a little bit, tweak them here, and then we can get on as a country. We'll have the Brexit, we'll have left the EU, we'll have a proper relationship, and then we can look at the big domestic issues, and we can have a competent government.
I'm not sure it's quite as simple as that, but
I think it is.
Thank you both very much indeed. This is All Out Politics. Coming up next, the